Three, two, welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Greg Hectus.
Boy, do we have an episode today, guys.
All right, Brad Wren.
I did not survive the Spa 24.
David Hall.
Actually, the show's going to take a lot of extra time because I'm going to do my best to get in everybody's way the whole show.
And William Westbrook.
I did survive the Spot 24.
He's a winner, actually. Congratulations, William.
Thank you.
On today's show, we'll cover the fallout from the iRacing Spa 24-hour special event. Get more updates from the 2025 Sim Gaming Expo. More details about NASCAR 25. See if a real setup will work in iRacing. Find out which budget sim racing accessories you need and give you a fix when you get thirsty in your rig, and what event is coming to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2026.
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all of the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
So, what event is coming to Charlotte in 2026?
Sim Racing Expo. So don't get confused. We've been talking about, guys, on this show for weeks, months, about Sim Gaming Expo coming in September. Now, the event that's been in Germany for 10 years or more, doing the Sim Racing Expo, they have announced Charlotte the weekend of Memorial Day weekend of the Coke 600 race. Now, look, remember, they also announced an event, I believe it was in Texas, during the South by Southwest event, and then that event never happened. And so let's keep that in context too.
Well, they got 10 months to figure it out. Let's hope it happens.
Wasn't that was what was going to be March? Was it March or something this year?
Yeah, it was March.
So
William brought up a good point. I'm curious what kind of success this would have being on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, so Brad brought up that maybe people being already in Charlotte for the 600 will bring more eyes. I'm not sure. Memorial Day weekend is a huge weekend for racing. It's a huge weekend that people vacation, and I don't know. We'll see. I mean, thankfully I can drive right to it. I'll 100% be there, but maybe taking it and then the 600. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes.
Is Memorial Day weekend closer to you guys' summer break for the kids too?
Most of the time they're already out of class.
Okay.
Well, depending on where you're at in the States. It's
It
kind
depends
of
on where you're at.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a somewhat kickoff to summer, an early kickoff to
Yeah.
summer, basically.
Southern states tend to get out a little bit earlier than the northern states because it's based on farming season ultimately.
Used to be, but now down here, Memorial Day weekend, for at least where I live, is when the kids actually get out.
And our kids.
Yeah, but there's some school in the north going in June.
And our kids go till the end of June.
Well, let's see. Let's hope it happens. I'm wondering, can we support two of them, in the same year, and are they spread far enough apart? I like the March and September, kind of an even split, but this one's late May, and then if Jorge has his, one in September, those are going to be they're going to be a lot closer together.
Is it better that one's closer on the East Coast side though this time? Like, that's where most of the population is, right?
Chicago's not that far from the East Coast.
I know, but I'm just saying it's more Midwest. I mean, Charlotte's, you got the Hall of Fame and stuff around there too for racing, and plus the race that weekend.
Yeah, but also what Jorge's doing is a gaming expo as well, so it's not just specifically racing, and I think that's going to help him. If this year is a success, I think it'll only be bigger next year. Just outside of the racing aspect, I would anticipate more involvement from some of the other, just the sim gaming stuff.
Well, I mean, Georgia's done a fantastic job putting this thing together. So I fully expect there to be enough capacity for both these to exist in the United States. We've needed it. I mean, there's been a void for so long that at least the first 2 years, I don't see either of these shows having a problems getting eyes to the doors.
Well, and this one's like it being sim racing. Obviously, you know the specific peripherals that'll probably be attending that type of thing. It's not as wide as what we're going to be going to see here in September.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of cool flight sim stuff. I am so kind of excited about that because I'm just kind of thinking about delving into that world a little bit. So I'm excited about that part.
You're not looking forward to getting stuff for truck simulating and farming, Mike?
Nope, I won't be looking for that. I want to try it maybe.
All right, next we have a video where somebody got a hold of an old NASCAR setup, it looks like.
Robbie Gordon, Sonoma, from the same year of this car. And it's like a written a setup sheet on handwriting. It's like a photocopy of it. And, like a crew chief would make. And it's got every setting of the car for the setup. And so DJ EJ basically him with some help from a friend, converted it into an iRacing setup the best they could. And it was interesting. And then they ran it, and I don't know. What did you think, Brad?
I think he put it in as he had whoever was helping him basically built the two sets, and I think had him do basically a blind test on it to try to see if he could tell the difference. And I don't think he got it right.
You're right. He guessed wrong at the end between the fixed and then the one that they built from Robbie Gordon's. But what was interesting about this video, David, is the next video from Liam Brotherton. And he's been around the iRacing forever. But Liam puts out a video on his channel telling us why DJ EJ was wrong about that setup. And so he went into some more detail about, well, there's 168 variables on this sheet, but only 47 actually go into iRacing. And you have to make assumptions on this and that. And then he talked about camber gate. If you guys remember back to make speed in the Coke series and stuff, they would do this really crazy camber and it would break it and make it work. And anyway, fascinating video. If you want to learn about oval setups in iRacing, this is gold. I mean, he talks about all kinds of cool stuff like that.
Well, the reason it's also not going to work too is because they back then they had road course chassis, so it's going to have you might be able to put those type of things in for like the springs and all that, but there's no way to they set the front ends up differently, they skew the car and the body differently, like it's never going to work.
No, the geometry is completely different.
That's exactly what he was talking about and pointing out is iRacing has a fixed geometry set up there, and then these, like you said, are custom per track back in those days. Good watch. Anyway, if you guys have like setup stuff, you should watch that video. Liam Brotherton. I haven't heard his name in a long time, so it was nice to see him put something out.
All right, next we have a post asking if there's a story behind your number. And I guess this is just somebody asking, what is this asking a specific person, or is this generally asking any? Oh, no, it's Boris, isn't it? What did Boris say?
Well, I thought we would all answer the question as a fun topic. And so so if you go into an unofficial race like Carb Cup or something, it's going to put the number that you've chosen as your primary number, I think, in the paint shop. But what number do you guys choose and why? I guess I'll go first. I got the 17, and the reason why is my first custom paint job was the Tide Ride, the orange Daryl Waltrip, Tide
Jaws.
Ride, and so
Jaws.
17, yeah, was it.
Yeah, I mean, I bounce around a bit, either between 25 and 93. 93, just because when I did race in 2006, that was my car number. 25, I don't know where that came from. I think towards the tail end of when I was on the service back in 16, I was running that number for some reason, but primarily since 2006, I typically use the 93.
I run the 10 because one of the gyms I used to be at was called 10 Fitness. I can even show right here, if you can see that, a sticker from them.
So I go between either 11 or 43. I wore 11 for a lot of sports in high school, and then 43. Obviously, Richard Petty was my racing idol growing up. So whichever one happens to be available.
I use 87, which is my birth year. Just I kind of like the way those letters or those numbers kind of form together, and obviously, I never had those kind of numbers growing up when I was playing sports because being a goalie, you're either 1 or 31, but 87 was just looked nicer, and the way that Bobby designed a font for me, it looks good.
All right, let's move on to some NASCAR 25 news. Excuse me, including an interview. Greg, I believe you've said you've watched this one, and based on our pre-show, I think you're the one who's the most excited to actually try the game.
I'm going off of a lot of the way that they were talking about the excitement that it's drawn from the industry. I know they've been craving something like this for consoles and to bring it out to the general public. And the way this interview was conducted, it was nice that they were going back and forth, discussing the processes and what their plan is. The way that they don't want this to just be a release this year, and then they're not going to obviously cram everything into it. It's a 3, 5, 7 year plan to keep it relevant. They haven't said if it's going to be released yearly or if it's just going to be maybe an updated title or something like that they go. They haven't decided the way that they're going, but the interview was really well done. I know, Mike, when you were talking in chat, you had a couple things you were looking at. Were saying that, they got this stuff that we don't even have in iRacing.
Oh, just like the procedural stuff, like choose cone and stage racing and stuff like that. And then they're going to have this full career mode too, where you have to make choices along the way. You start in the ARCA. You have to start in the ARCA and move your way up. And apparently, at some point, they'll flash in Dale Jr. Doing the Dirty Mo podcast with TJ Majors talking about, we have this up and coming driver in the truck series, Mike Ellis, and he had a great run, and we'll have to watch him, going into, moving up. That kind of stuff was discussed, and that was pretty cool.
Well, and to build on that, that career mode also has the ability to manage your own teams. You're going to start off in ARCA there. You're going to start off in a backyard garage type thing and move your way up. And you're going to have more you go into it, you're going to have more vehicles. You're going to have to manage your crew. I don't know if they got really into they weren't talking about expenses and things like that, but there is research and development type stuff that's going to make it better. But they also said that you can tailor it to how you want to play it. You can play it as in depth as you want it to be, or as simple as you want it to be, depending on what type of racer you are. They said that juniors had a lot of a lot of the ideas were things that he's been looking for, he's thought of over the years, and um, you know, some feedback that I guess he's probably received. But he's been hands on. I guess he's involved every week. Apparently, they're also talk to their weekly meetings with NASCAR on this. NASCAR's got their hand in it, trying to make sure that you know they keep the authenticity, I guess, of the sport as well with it.
So is this the same engine that they use for the World of Outlaws game?
Well, what he said is it's Unreal 5, but what they've done is you can't really just use Unreal 5. They have to create their own engine stuff within it, which is kind of, certain things of, it's not going to be able to give everybody what they want in year one. It's going to take them time to develop this all together. They're using Unreal 5 so that it gives them the base of what they need, and they can build around it. And I think that's the exact same thing that they're doing with iRacing. I know they're building their own engine, but I think they're using some parameters from Unreal 5 as well to design it. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they're doing, but I would gather from the way he was talking that that's how they would be doing things as well with that. That they have a base and then they're just building around it.
Well, if you're into the console stuff, this will be Xbox, PlayStation, and PC available. You probably want to check out the video and see what you think. But yeah, there's a lot of detail about, like he talked about, you're always going to start in the garage when you get in the car, and then you drive out. And then Mike Straw was smart enough to ask all these questions like, well, you're on pit road, but what if I don't drive? What if I turn to the left or something and run into the wall? Will it auto drive me? You know how games do that. And he didn't really say one way or the other, but Mike was trying to probe and ask those type of questions.
Well, he said that right now there's too many variables that somebody could do, or they were afraid, like they're thinking of the consequences that people could do in a race. If they were going down pit road and they were manually control it, they could just stop, and then what are the AI cars going to do? Are they going to run into the back of them? Are they going to scatter all over pit road? Are they going to be blocked? So basically, they're giving you pit road by, I believe it's going to be cutscene type thing. It's going to be, you're going to see the pit stop being done, and then you get regain control probably when it goes green. You're not even going to have it probably under caution from what it sounds like.
Very controller friendly, even though they said wheels will be supported and whatnot.
They also said that it's going to be, you can tailor it to being very generic, like just pick it up and drive. But there's a lot of parameters you can go and make it very, very sim feeling, and that's what a lot of the feedback from the drivers that had gotten their hands on it.
And some paint features as well. Leagues will be coming, but not the first year.
So that's the other thing that they were talking about in that interview too, that NASCAR has been involved in their partners, and they've been working with them to get a lot of the brands that deal with NASCAR in it, so they can you can use their logos and things like that. And then there's also the paint booth is probably going to be pretty generic, but you can design pretty much anything. It reminds me of years ago, Forza Motorsports on Xbox. You could design anything, but you just got to use like shapes and stuff to design it instead of just drawing.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else to cover on that, let's move on to the next question, which is posted by Tim Ringers on the iRacing forums, and it's, why is there no Indy NXT series? And I haven't looked at the replies, but isn't there?
Not in iRacing.
Not in iRacing. I haven't looked at the replies either, but the answer is money.
Well, Well, I mean, it's effectively that there is the Indy iRacing series, which follows NXT, right?
So-
NXT is the feeder series for
Yeah, NXT is
Yeah,
the
it's like
minor.
Hey.
it's like F2.
Okay, shows you how much I care about Indy.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think that's the problem.
Right. The main series can barely get 2 splits, so why are they going to put resources into the feeder series? It's probably not gonna race, right?
David, it's where Haley Deegan went to.
Okay.
To run last.
Yeah, she's trying though, guys. I kind of keep up on her videos, but okay. So Dustin William Owen Dawes, the first reply, he says, "Quote: The rumor is the car was scanned, but the USF PM sold so poorly that the Indy Lights car didn't get built." And then Juicy Niemanen says, iRacing has had the license for the NXT car at least in the past, according to staff, but have chosen not to build it. Different rumors for reasons for trouble getting car data to poor participation in other Indy ladder cars.
Well, if you watch the participation of the IndyCar series as the season goes, I can understand exactly why that they're, delegating their resources somewhere else.
It's like their viewership numbers on their broadcast.
There's only so many open wheel drivers, and I think we're flocking to the F4 car. The FIA F4 is where everyone is kind of grouping up.
There's
And
a
so
lot. There's a lot of open wheel cars.
I know, and that's kind of my point is, you add this one, it's not going to get run, really.
But I think we discussed before. I mean, is there really a legitimate ladder series for an open wheel, career in iRacing? I mean, you've got it on the stock car side, but is there a legitimate, uh, ladder for working your way up? I mean, is it going back to the Ford F1600 or whatever it is? I mean, is that the progression, and then just working your way up to, because the F1 car is not very popular either.
Well, look, are you talking a North America progression or a European progression? I mean, I think there's two different things.
Well, they
Now
still
you
don't.
can
Right.
do it. You can mix them and have a progression.
They just don't in the European. Even if you had the European, I think until they nail down a proper license on the road or the road open wheel side, like if say Codemaster lost the rights to the F1 cars or something like that, where iRacing could make the F1, maybe they would be able to make a feeder series or ladder properly. But there's just not, like you said, there's not a popularity between all those divisions to because the F1 car is one singular car, so you have to be a fan of that car if that's what you want to race all the time.
I think there's a rumor that the F1 game license may be up for grabs with EA's and Microsoft's recent changes. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was a video we're covering later with Nim Cross where they were kind of poking at Nim, trying to get him to say they were going after the F1 license, basically.
I just can't. I don't know. I just can't see that being a very profitable choice. If we're looking at an iRacing platform, I would think that F1, like somewhat like NASCAR, would rather have a console-based game. That I think it reaches much more of a mass market than iRacing would.
So I just read online the F1 license expires at the end. Codemaster F1 EA license expires at the end of 2025.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
But there's a potential 2-year extension. But I know that EA has been hemorrhaging money and getting rid of different series of games and focusing on just their specific sports that they want to through it.
Yeah, they went through huge layoffs or something, right? I think so.
See, there's
Okay.
hold on, sorry, David. I'm just getting another thing here. There was an acknowledgement of that 2-year extension, but then it's been retracted. So I'm guessing it's not completely done. So that's why there says there's a potential 2 years.
No, that's good. It's hard to guess sometimes when you're done or not. So, Brad, this one is dedicated to you because you were very vocal about a scheduling choice in IMSA.
Yeah, so it's that time for 2025 season 4 schedule submission. So we've got a couple links up in here and just a few of these. But if you go through the forums and most of the series, they're mostly community driven as far as schedules. So it gives you an opportunity to give some feedback into those. Most of them use I guess, some sort of template or a voting procedure will start once they kind of narrow things down. So if you want to have a voice in whatever series you're racing, most of them, now's your opportunity to pick your tracks.
Do you need a link to the one for IMSA?
No, because I think that's still being done by iRacing.
It is.
Ah.
I don't know if they're taking suggestions for it or not, but the schedule itself is by racing.
All right. First, we'll just talk about the SPA 24 in general, like all splits. First thing we ran into was there was an issue with the results display. Essentially, some of the results disappeared, and I don't know if they ever came back. Did they, Brad?
I think they were able to, between them recovering them, and then I believe they requested replays from the community. I think they were able to capture, I think, all but about one of the splits. I think this was primarily the 8 o'clock, would be the 8 a.m. East start time, or the 1200 GMT. I think that was the bulk of the issues they had. I know, like, our split, I don't remember what number we were, but I don't think our stuff ever showed up until maybe, late Sunday afternoon or so. But yeah, I think they were able to capture, I think, all but maybe one split.
It's interesting because the safety rating and I rating changes did go through.
See, mine didn't until they'd released the results got shown. Mine hadn't changed.
And I don't think they did for these affected splits. I think they were able to recover the finishing positions, but I'm pretty sure that iRacing has said that safety rating and iRating were lost.
Okay.
Well, that was not the case on ours because when you said that the results were still not coming up, either they had come up and you just hadn't been able to access them, or it had gone through somehow, or maybe that's why they were able to recover ours compared to the others, is because it wasn't having the same problem.
Well, there were only 5 affected splits for that issue. Your results might have been delayed, but there are only 5 that they completely lost the data for.
Yeah,
right.
Because I did see this. We wrecked out pretty early. In fact, like what, lap 2?
Yeah.
Really, we wrecked out to having any chance to contend on lap 2. But we gave up after another big one. But I got back on late at night and just ran 2 stints where I was letting everybody go and not pressuring anybody, just to farm some safety rating because the finish didn't matter at that point.
So if I'm Tony Gardner and I'm in the Monday morning meeting, I'm, from a software perspective, you got to ask yourself, well, how does this happen? How do you actually lose 5 splits of results? Like, it shouldn't be hard for a developer or a programmer to have some kind of system that's writing results in the background to a backup database somewhere else or something to make sure they always have the data. I mean, to have the data in a place where it can disappear and there's no backup, that kind of seems silly. We got to fix that.
I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, there's things that go wrong. I don't know if this was a hardware issue or just a software issue. I mean, it happens. I mean, think about how many events go off every single day, and there's typically never an issue.
But it's not like the server went down, Brad. The race is finished. These people had a great race. They exited the server, and so if the server went down I would understand why the results were gone. I don't know. It's just weird to me, and so that's what I would be asking as an executive.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I mean, again, they've they have come a long way. I mean, it used to be that every time we tried this, the entire system crashed.
And so, is this a reason to save your replay, just in case this happens to you again? Like William, you got that really good result, and somehow your split is one of these 5. I mean, if you save that replay, maybe they'll reinstate the results, kind of thing. It's something to think about.
Hopefully, we actually in iRacers, we had somebody that wasn't one of these splits, and they sent the replay into iRacing support. I don't know whatever came of it. Obviously, I think they've been able to get some of their results back. Yeah, it's disappointing, but I mean, I have the replay. I know what happened, so I would be very disappointed that it actually doesn't show up in the officials. But I can make my own custom certificate, I guess.
All right. So another issue that got posted is really kind of sort of a personal issue, but I guess he's asking for some kind of recourse for it because this fella, Bruno Danesi, had a guy intentionally no-show for their race and caused them all to get DQ'd and was on apparently running NASCAR races at the time. And I don't know a whole lot about whether or not these guys were friends or just some team that randomly put themselves together at the last second. Because ultimately, if somebody pulls this, you just obviously can never trust them again. But interesting. He's wanting some way to basically appeal the results.
Well, so go ahead.
These guys were actually in our split. Like we were racing with them. And yeah, about 20 hours in, they start coming over to general chat and they're like, "Yeah, this sucks because we're about to get DQ because the guy's not answering and not coming on." From what I understand, a couple of them knew each other outside, but they were all just on Discord together. I don't know which Discord, but a Discord together. He had practiced the race with them beforehand, like the week leading up to it. Apparently, he had practiced. They chose a car together, and on race day, he just doesn't show up. So that would be devastating. I would be so mad. All that hard work put in just to because they were running 5th, I think, when they started realizing that they were about to get DQ'd.
Unfortunately, it's just the risk you take, though, right? Like, if you really want to, I guess it's tough. I mean, it's easy for us to say we have a team of a bunch of diverse drivers. We can kind of field whatever we need to as a team, and we do have some affiliates outside the team that can help us fill hours. But, I guess it's, when you're trying to put a team together of just, I guess misfits, as you want to call it, or just other people, it's tough. It's just the risk that's going to happen. People are flaky, can be flaky, and sometimes they just, do bad things. We're going to find that out soon here later once we start talking about another topic.
Oh, so Daytona 24, we got hit with this. One of the guys that was going to race couldn't because he had a family emergency. And he reached out to iRacing. He did everything in his power to try to see if there was anything they could do to not have us be DQ'd, but it is what it is. But if you read through this form, I mean, one of these asking for is an option to where you could basically get rid of a teammate at some point. Well, the issue with that is it would turn into it would turn into an exploit, an absolute exploit. That's the issue. You're going to have somebody come in with a very low I rating to help drag your I rating down, and then you go, "Oh, well, they didn't show up, so we'll just go ahead and drop them from the team." I mean, the only thing I could see, I guess I would potentially like to have an option to where you could have a standby or a backup to where if the person could be registered if something was to happen. Like for us, I mean, that happened in Daytona 24. We ran the whole race, but we basically I think we disconnected right before the end, so we didn't get DQ'd. I mean, there's nothing we could do. We were going to get DQ'd.
But the only way you could have a standby is if they were within a certain range of the same I rating.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I mean, or the standby goes into the calculation of your I rating. I don't know, but it sucks, and I get it. I understand their frustration, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, every special event you go through the forums and it's like looking for a teammate, looking for a team, looking for. I mean, it's like I just can't imagine just grabbing somebody. There's too much invested just to grab somebody that you don't know.
Oh, but
Yeah.
that's actually happening, Brad. I somehow got on notification for just what you said, looking for a team, and there's hundreds, like not below 100, like several hundred people messaging back and forth in the forums, trying to organize teams, just random people trying to hook up. Hey, DM me, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, there's a lot of piecemeal. But look, if this is the only team that, you know, this happened to out of all of those, yeah, it's not so bad. But look, this guy's a loser, the guy who didn't show up.
Yeah, shame on him for
And
even being
and
in another race on the sim.
he was actually in my NIS Open race today, because I know his name, and I mentioned to you, Greg, who he was, and you remember. I think you know who he is too. But I said, "Hey, how was your Spa 24, 11?" And he said, "Not so good."
How would he know?
Right? Look, I was trying to shame him a little bit, to be honest, because that's total BS, man. The guy on the forum indicates he practiced with the team, he contributed to the setup, he was active in Discord right up until the race started, and then he ghosted him.
Well, it would be nice if there could be some kind of extreme circumstances within a window, but then that adds a lot of work too, so it may just overwhelm them. But I would think there would need to be the caveat that if your no-show would throw you into a different split, then you should still then tough. If you would have been in the same split anyway, maybe. But if that would be a protection against the exploit, is if it would have thrown you into a completely different split within a certain margin of error, then you can't get the exception.
No changes needed. It's fine how it is. I mean, we just need less losers.
kind of like in the NIS series. Oh, yeah. All right. So next we have Instagram of a typical lap 1 experience at Spa.
Yeah, Apex Racing Academy put up their first lap, and boy, what a move to avoid all the carnage just in the first few laps. He actually had a car go right over the top of him too, right above a Rouge.
That looks like the Porsche and BMW at Nürburgring.
Yeah, that was some
seen
luck
that
and a
video.
lot of good avoidance.
Yeah, so in the second season, I think, maybe the first of the Grassroots Racing League, we had almost the exact same thing happen. P1 lost it going up Rouge, and it caused a massive pile up, and it looks almost exactly like that. I've got the video saved somewhere. I'll put it up in Discord for everybody, but yeah, I witnessed that firsthand.
I was going to ask if you think there's just some people who are just not aware of the new tire model quite as yet, but no, this kind of thing would have happened before the tire model as well.
It's a little early for an underwear change in a spa race.
Mine happened on lap 2.
Okay, what about Split 22? What happened with Split 22, guys?
So we have 2 videos, and I gave both of these a watch. The first time I caught wind of this, it was posted by Basic Ollie, and it actually came up right on my YouTube feed. And then Boosted Media also gave a reply to it, and they were wanting this to be brought to public attention because of how egregious it was. Essentially, there was a group of racers who spent hours upon hours obstructing the track and intentionally wrecking guys. If they would start by just throwing blocks, even when you had and then if you did happen to get beside them before they could throw the block, then they would just hit you. And they spent hours and hours of just intentionally obstructing the race. Their goal seemed to be how many people could they get piled in behind them, right? So this blows up. This is now a public issue. This is not a few private iRacers, because even though it's down in split 22, a lot of people put a lot of time into this, and this is a special event. This is not, you can't put out the stupid email that says, well, there's plenty of other chances to race. There's one a year for this event. So essentially the racers, both boosted and basic, are calling for permabans for the guys and calling for it to be announced publicly. Then we got a couple of replies. So I want to skip the first one, and let's go down to the OOR Motorsports. And you're the one who found this one, I believe, Mike.
Well, the OORO Motorsport is the team that did this. There were 3 different drivers, and all 3 of them participated in this.
Plus the ghost driver.
Well, he's probably going to bring that up, but I forgot to mention these are all apparently professional drivers as well.
Mike, before we get to that point, if they're professional drivers, why are they in split 22?
Right?
I mean, obviously their maturity shows why they're probably... I'm not trying to discredit split 22. They're all hard splits, but professional drivers don't normally fall into those splits unless it's, for a reason.
I mean, that should probably be put in air quotes. One of them does have ties to, I think, Alex Palou's development team, but the other 2 are part of, and that statement is from a karting team from Dubai, I think.
So it's a little exaggerated.
A little bit.
And they go on to say that the Zach Scholar guy was not the driver logged into the account at the time of his incident. His account was accessed without authorization after he mistakenly shared his iRacing login with a colleague.
How do you accidentally share your login?
Hey guys, my iRacing ID is I call bullshit, and my password is 12345.
Now my question is if I was iRacing, I know we'll get to that part of this. They need to find out who that guy is too, and he needs to be. If he has an account, it needs to go away too.
Look, they got IP address tracking. They know if an account has changed IP addresses in the same event.
Yeah, well, sharing your password and stuff and credentials that's a bannable offense to begin with.
I think most people in the replies are calling BS. No, they're just saying that to try to cover for Zach, who's the one pro driver out of the 3, really. And so they're trying to cover for him, basically, it was what the replies were saying. Let's move on to, so look, I want to put this in perspective. So the thing happened in split 22. People that were in that race, hey, I'm sending a replay to some YouTube content creators in the hopes that they speak out on this. And that's what happened. So Basic Ollie got the replay and he made a nice video on it. Then Boosted Media basically did his own video based on Basic Ollie's video. And based on that, it was basically public at that point. And so then iRacing goes on. So they do their normal, hey, we had 15,000 drivers at the spa. How was your race? Tweet. And then immediately people are replying, well, unless you were in split 22.
Mike, before this, I was thinking this all day while I was watching this video, because I went through them because I knew you guys talking. I didn't want to cut you off there, but can I say shame on iRacing for this too? If it blew up where it got to people's YouTube accounts and other Discords and all those things, how did no one from any of the admin teams notice it?
But the YouTube channels didn't come out until after the race was over.
But
yeah,
there was still probably formed talks. There was probably stuff going on. It's still... This is where I think that, yeah, you need the live admins, but I don't think we'll ever get to the point. But can you have a customer service person that you can get a contact?
Yeah, let's hold that for a second. We'll discuss that in a minute.
Well, yeah. Okay. Go ahead, William.
I mean, I'm not sure I expect iRacing to be on that on top of it, but certainly shame on them for not
It's
for following their
24 hours.
policy.
If it was like a 6-hour event, I can understand. It's 24 hours. It went on for a while. I'm not trying to blame iRacing here, but it kind of it frustrates me that it got as far as it did.
It would be
Okay, well,
interesting to bring on Michaelette to talk about the Majors 24 and how many people they have to run to take care of all those protests. So, and if you start a customer service, you're going to have people calling, this guy bumped me or this guy blocked me, and that will keep that buried. But I skipped around a little bit, so let's jump up to the inconsistency post. Are we good with that, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to read it out loud. And so this is what iRacing posted in reply to the people that said, Split 22 didn't have fun kind of thing. So they wrote, iRacing takes on-track conduct during our events as seriously as our members do. Our team of devoted stewards thoroughly reviews all protests submitted to them every day and takes action when appropriate. Please remember that under the iRacing Sporting Code, any actions taken to penalize a member are between iRacing and the member in question. While our policy is not to comment publicly on specific incidents or sanctions, this does not mean that no action has been taken. We would also like to remind the community that the targeted harassment of other iRacing members is against our sporting code as well.
And I replied because I went and did a little research recalling an event during 2020.
Oh, the Kyle Larson event?
Kyle
What was their-
Larson's this is iRacing's public statement that they put out to all the media outlets in the world and social media. Kyle Larson's language last night was both offensive and inappropriate and in violation of our sporting code. As such, Kyle Larson has been suspended indefinitely from the iRacing service. So, yeah, the scale is bigger, but the policy was not followed here. So there's precedent. And because of how public this has become, they've already established that they can ignore this policy if they want.
Well, their statement there saying we're all equal, but they're not treating everyone equal.
Never do.
Well, and then an interesting other thing, I asked about Scott Speed as well, and they never made Scott Speed's suspensions public. That was all through back channels and such. So what we've got is essentially another reply in this to this thread was they say they take the racing incidents seriously, but they immediately bring up the harassment. And that's probably because they're probably going to chat ban all the people who were cussing these people out for what they were doing the whole 24 hours, which quite frankly, when you're being attacked, in the way those guys' race integrity was being attacked and what was going on, I think they should be given a pass in that race. Also, one of the guys pointed out that the one time they came out and publicly said something was when somebody said something politically controversial and racially insensitive. But do something like this at a race for hours upon hours upon hours, and no, we're still gonna keep our punishments secret.
I think the part where they say about the targeted harassment of other iRacing members is against the sporting code is actually addressed to Basic Ollie. I mean, he's the one that, pointing it out, calling out names, saying these people are pro drivers. They have sponsors. They have this and that. Look at us. I mean, we're talking about it today. I mean,
we're not using their names.
That's not public harassment. That's public commentation. All right, and it's not the same. And it's just not the same.
Who are they referring to there?
I think they're referring to people who might be going after them in real life, going after their sponsors, or what the other people said in the server.
Yeah, because
what's happening.
Because the sponsors put it in their statement about the attacks too, right? The personal attacks.
Well, their team did, but I'm pretty sure that was Chat GTP written by the Zach dude.
Look, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's it.
Unfortunately, sometimes, I want to believe there's, everyone deserves a second chance, but who even thinks that this was, comes up with this as a, I'm going to just do this and ruin everybody's, that's a different type of person. That's not for our community. And I don't want to I don't want to be that type of person, but that's not for our community.
Let's describe for somebody who hasn't seen the video what exactly is happening. Like they were going down that final backstretch before the garages or the pits, and they're going just slow enough that they have all the cars backed up behind them. You see behind the car 6, 8 cars trying to figure out a way to get around.
Yeah, I mean, you had guys like coming up when you come out of you come up Eau Rouge and you get down to the first right hander. There were guys that were taking the access road, taking the 1X and the time penalty, just trying to get away from them. You had guys that were deciding to pit to try to get away from them. I mean, there were some shots in the video where there was probably 10 or 15 cars piled up behind them that nobody could get around them. It was absolutely ridiculous.
And those guys who did try to get around them got door slammed or pushed to the gravel or wrecked or worse. It was bad.
Well, it's bad enough and public enough that the community deserves a public statement on this, that something was done. It shouldn't just be kept secret in this case.
I agree. Precedent or not.
Examples need to be made. Sorry.
The precedent's been set, though. It has already been set. They have said they can make an exception.
If you set the Kyle Larson thing aside, they have been consistent, David.
Yeah, Larson, that was right in the middle of COVID when NASCAR is doing races on iRacing. So when Larson doesn't show up the next week, it's coming out no matter what. So I'm not so sure on the whole Larson thing. But here, to me, when they don't make a public statement, they drop the ball. They're saying, we don't take this as seriously as we claim we do. And I so far, it looks like they have. I mean, 2 of the guys tried to start races. 2 days later, they both were DQ'd from those races, and none of them have raced since. Who knows how long? Who knows if it's indefinite like it should be? I don't know. But there needs to be something public said.
Now, a caveat to that is people who were fussing about him racing on Monday, I'm sure that the protest team had not been able to get to their stuff but until then, and if they're taking things in chronological order of submission. So that's why they were still racing on Monday.
So our friends over at Into the Apex podcast did a whole show on this, basically. So if you want more discussion about it, you can check those guys out.
Well, speaking of other podcasts, I guess we can stop beating that herd of horses and move on. You got more? Oh, we did. Oh, yeah. Will live admins ever be a thing?
Well, obviously that question comes up considering what happened with Split 22. And so that was a forum post by Mike Pierce, and the discussion is on. Look, I don't know if it's a thing. I don't think we need to do that.
Well, I guess part of the thought was if there's some sort of staff member that if something's going on, hey, this is going on in Split X. Can somebody take a look at it?
So I'm going to answer that, Brad, right
there's
now.
There's a precedent.
Sorry, David. I was going to say our next video, which is Nim Cross interview. Nim said in that video how he, during the Spa 24, went into different streams, Twitch streams, watching the race, from a streamer's perspective. But it sounded like he was bouncing around into different people's streams, just seeing what's going on. So it almost sounds like somebody is doing that.
Well, we know he did that.
There's a lot of splits. Yeah, there's a precedent. And it was when they came on and told those guys they were going to be DQ'd for the exploit.
Yeah, I mean, he did
top split, though.
So top split gets live admins?
I mean, fair or not, they get more scrutiny.
Well,
it's just
it was televised
how it
too,
happens.
Or it was streamed.
So essentially, we've now kind of said it twice because Kyle Larson was a big thing too. When you're the big boys, you get watched more.
Do you expect anything different?
Honestly, it's just the reality. The top split broadcast split is going to have eyes on it. It just the thing.
well, it's typically being broadcast as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
people are watching. I mean, it's the same thing that I mean, look, what did we do about the Coke series? When, I mean, Mike, you went down the ranting about Blake McCandless versus the following week and the inconsistency there. I mean, it's there are certain things that are going to be made public and certain things that aren't.
Yeah, there's a human factor to it, and you mentioned the Kyle Larson thing, and you think about that time frame, and NASCAR's kind of going woke, and I'm sure iRacing's along with them, and it was George Floyd and all this stuff was going on during that time frame. So um, for them to come out and say publicly something when they never have before, I don't know. I'm not giving them a pass on that, but yeah.
I'm just saying they've set a precedent that it's okay to make an exception when necessary, when it ends up being kind of for the better good for the community.
So what are some of the ideas on the live admin thing? I think an idea is maybe there needs to be a Discord or some kind of live chat that's monitored where people that are in the 24-hour races, if something is going on like this, there's a place for them to report it quickly, and maybe an admin can jump in and spot check it. Maybe there should be somebody on staff that's monitoring us, an official Discord or something for the Spa 24.
Well, do you remember the years ago when they had all those problems with splits going live? They knew about that happening. Obviously, they were monitoring to start that kind of stuff to get all the splits going. So, if there's people complaining about something where you're going to get like the same thing complained over again, I would hope that something like a Discord or I'm not saying a customer service line where you call and bitch and moan because someone spun you, but like, hey, this split has something really going wrong in it. Please check it out.
Yeah, but that's what's going to happen. Is I got spun on lap 3.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be a logistical nightmare, and there's going to be so much noise that this thing is still not going to get through.
I mean, hence what Mike said. I mean, as we get into the next topic with the Chicane podcast, they sat down with iRacing Chief Steward, Nim Cross, and one of the things that blew my mind away was what he said, that they have roughly 1,000 protests a day. I had no idea it would be that many. No idea.
David, why are you submitting that many a day?
He's got a staff of people. How many was it? 8 or something? Yeah.
8.
Yeah, 8 people that do it. So he isn't the one who actually handles the protest. He's like the manager of the people that do it. So don't blame Nim. It's somebody else who's actually doing it. But look, obviously they're taking direction from him. And look, the Chicane podcast, these guys rock. They have a great podcast, and God bless them. I hope they can keep it up because they put a lot of effort into it. They have a good video portion. But anyway, it was a great interview to learn a lot about Nim Cross and really where did he come from and how did he get his tie into iRacing. And basically he developed like a NASCAR manager kind of game, where you're an owner and you spend money and you do this and that. And it caught John Henry's eye. And so he became fast friends with John Henry. And so when John Henry started up iRacing, Nim was right there as one of his guys,
Oh, he's been there since the very beginning.
He said hire number 4. He said he was the 4th guy to be hired or whatever. So what a blessing to have such a job like that. He shows off a couple rigs he has in his room, and the guys at the podcast, the Chicane podcast, they asked a lot of great questions, trying to dig info out of him. So I was fully entertained. Great show.
Yeah, so roughly 1,000 per day. I think they said about 40% of them are pretty much, I guess,
Shouldn't be sent in.
Shouldn't have been sent in. I guess usually within a few minutes of them loading, looking at it, they can already make a decision on what it is. You talked about the hardware, because you're talking about, what do you got, 8 people, 1,000 a day. I guess whatever they're using computer wise has got to be super fast. He said, whatever they're using, because they can load. I mean, you know how long it takes to load a replay. But yeah, he's typically doing the appeals and stuff like that. So look, them's been around forever. I mean, I can remember doing the beta for iRacing and the way they were starting to work out with the safety rating and stuff like that. And then, in the very early days, them was involved. So, look, we are harsh about the stewarding. I complain about it at times. But I mean, I hate to say it, they probably do a pretty decent job overall. I would think the ones that, probably 50-50 on what I've submitted through the years have been held up.
Look, after watching the video and getting to learn more about Nim, and I've known him over the years. I've raced with him in the Winter League for a couple seasons. I've seen him in NIS. I've seen him in F4. I think I've seen him in GT3s, and so we've crossed paths. I said, hey, last time I saw him in a lobby, I was, hey Nim, how you doing? And he's, hey Mike, so we're on a first name basis. He's a great guy, and he loves motorsports. He, like we do. He's a racer, and so keep that in mind. His heart is in the right place.
All right. So the next we have a feature about iRacing Studios. So tell us a little bit about this one, William.
Yep. So I suppose this goes along with the job listing we saw last week or the week before. iRacing Studios was announced. Pleased to unveil the iRacing Studios brand to cover its expanding slate of racing games. So this is going to be doing broadcasts from all the games: iRacing, War Outlaws, NASCAR 25. They even put Exocross and iRacing Arcade in there, so we'll see. But yeah, they said just it's important that is a new introduction to the Studios brand. The overall iRacing Motorsport Simulations is remaining unchanged. So it basically just looks like they're looking to ramp up the broadcast and the quality and frequency of what they already put out. So
I look at it differently than that. I look at this as how they are structuring their company. Okay, so iRacing Studios, after looking at their website, kind of looking at this, I think is like their parent company or the umbrella company. And within that, you have World of Outlaws, you have regular iRacing, you got NASCAR 25, and so forth. And so they're kind of grouping the console and iRacing up under this umbrella of iRacing Studios. Maybe it's a financial reason. Who knows? But they're doing it obviously to time with the release of the game, which is coming, this fall. And so there's some reason they want to, have a new name to put everything under.
Well, I think as they continue to expand, I mean, I think you need to have some sort of overarching,
Brand.
Brand. Exactly. I mean, yes, under iRacing Studios, you have X, Y, and Z. And as we continue to add stuff, I mean, it just falls under, like you said, falls under that umbrella.
Yeah, Mike, you're right. I guess I read that wrong in my brain. I guess I just assumed because of the studio's name. I added that in my head. But no, it looks to be a one-stop shop for all the racing, and then you can go to your specific game.
Title idea, iRacing Studios.
IRLP10. That's the code you can put in to save 10% tickets at Schaumburg in Chicago, September 5th through the 7th. That's when the expo is. It's coming up quick. We're 6 weeks out or so.
I can't believe how fast it's creeping up here. I'm ready though. I got all.
Yeah, I am too.
You gave the names, right, David? So we all going to get a pass appropriately.
We've got 6 passes. I haven't had to put the names in yet. I'll be putting the names in soon. But yeah, he's going to have me register all of us. And yeah, we've got 6 passes. I did get my power unit that we're going to have at our station for people to come by and charge their stuff if they want. I've already tested it with my drum set and powered speaker, and I played for about an hour and it barely used 2% of its power. It's basically sort of like a car battery, but it's designed to be its own system. I think it could actually run an air conditioner, a small air conditioner, or a fridge even for a while. It's got a lot of juice.
So we don't have any fancy sim racing hardware to show off, software. So
Nope.
Our booth is just going to be a gathering point, is what we really want. Come visit, come charge your phone at David's new, battery thing that he got. We'll have a charger for you. You could charge your phone and hang out and talk with us.
It's the lounge.
And we're going to give you a free sticker if you could show you're subscribed to the podcast.
Plus, we're going to be out on the floor doing interviews and things like that too.
But a lot of those might just happen right at the lounge as people come by.
We're dead center we're right in the middle of the action, right near the where they're going to have the competition.
All right, so some of the new announcements. We have Jeff Gallego. What can we tell about him?
He's a
Gran Turismo guy.
Yeah,
apparently.
He makes Gran Turismo content.
Cool. But this one really is the one that brings the show home for Jorge. Look, we've been waiting for this. Why it hasn't come to this point, but I hope our little bit of peer pressure may have helped with this. But look, iRacing has announced sponsorship announcement with Sim Gaming Expo. Man, we need this.
I bet you it's been in there for a while. It's one of those things you just finish it off with, the last type of announcements as we get closer to it. I don't think this was a fact that we were waiting on it. I think it's probably been done for a while.
There's probably a lot of crossing T's and dotting I's, or maybe dotting T's and crossing I's.
And then Louisville Slugger apparently is another special guest, and he does some kind of streaming. I'm not sure.
Streams slow car races. He likes the slower cars.
So does he mean like the MX-5?
I'd have to look and see what he is an iRacing streamer, so yeah, I would guess he's probably like the rookie slower type vehicles.
All right. Now it looks like we're going to take a look at some events, starting with the IRX Championship. So this is the Next Level Racing IRX Championship. There's a Discord that you can join, and it's going to be broadcasted on Race Spot TV. There are 2 classes, RX AM and RX Pro. So is this dirt road?
Yeah, it's the VW Beetle, Ford Fiesta, Subaru WRX, 7 rounds starting July 27th.
Was there qualifying for this? Or is it
not
like
sure
the top split that's getting that type of thing?
I just stumbled across this week, and I haven't gone to the Discord to get more information, but it does start soon. So if you want to do the dirt road, you should get involved. Probably not a lot of people that do, so that'd be fun.
All right, and then we have this time attack that it's related to the Sim Gaming Expo. How about that? Yeah, we've been doing it, and I think I'm in last place on the team.
Okay. Sim Gaming Expo Challenge Series, sponsored by SimiCube and iRacing. And so this is awesome, guys. I really think Jorge has hit it out of the park with the way this has been organized so far, the way that you qualify in and so forth. But William, I want you to give the listeners the details because you're the guy who is still in the running out of our team. So tell us how you qualify.
All right, so this is a time. It's three rounds. The first two are done on the sim virtually or away from the Sim Expo. The last round will be at the Sim Expo. The first round is a time attack. It's using the Porsche GT3 car with a setup from Marconi Setup Shop fixed. You can run as many laps as you want. Your goal is to be in the top 75 at the end. It runs through July 27th, so you've got that long to set your best lap. So you're looking to be in the top 75 after that ends, and if you are in the top 75, you have to show proof you have a 2-day ticket to the Sim Gaming Expo to advance to the next round. You have until August 5th to submit that, and it's through a Google Doc sheet on their Discord. Supposing you get to the second round, they are doing online broadcasted qualification races, and your goal from there is the top 30 will advance from there to compete in person at the Sim Racing Expo. So that's a really cool thing. I'm trying my best to set a time, but man, this Porsche does not like me.
I think I've gotten all I can get out of it, and I just do not drive well on a GT3 to begin with. I've never been fast in them.
I'm 125th.
Justin got by me last night, so
I've got a lot more to do, and I just haven't had much time, so I'm waiting to crawl in there. But I'm worried about the qualifying event. If I do qualify, I got to figure a way of being home for that Saturday. I work that Saturday.
So I digress a little bit. I want to talk about how frustrating doing this time attack is. Oh my God.
that's what I said in the Discord, the chat, man. I was like, this is why I don't do time attacks. How frustrating can this be? I think I've done it. I've done 3 rounds of it, and I get more angry every time.
Well, what I get angry about is somehow I put up what I thought was a good lap. At least it was a good lap for me. And then when I go for the second and third try, like you said, to try to improve, I can't even recreate that lap. And it drives me insane. Like I'm not even close to recreating it, let alone go faster.
Well,
and that's the frustration.
My issue is I can be 2 or 3 tenths up and get through the infield, and I'm like, this is it. Then I hit the bell stop, and I'll wreck every single time.
Well, for me, it's just the same reason I don't ever really qualify good is I can't set a fast hot lap. My good finishes most of the time come from first just accident avoidance and racecraft, but also that I'm really good on the tires, and I will outrun people who can out hot lap me pretty easily. Like they'll pull away for about 2 laps, and then I'm running them down.
Yeah, if I was able to set my optimal, I'd be in the top 20 or top 15, I think. But I just can't seem to put it together all in one lap. And the frustrating thing is if you really mess up and have to reset the car, or you ran too many laps and you need to let your tires cool off a little bit and reset it, it takes 4 laps to get these tires back up to temp. So It's really frustrating having to start over and do that again.
I just thought of this. Can you cool the tires off by just kind of running a half slow lap?
I haven't tried it yet, but just be aware strict qualifying scrutiny is on. So if you spin it out of 7 into the cones, it will make you reset. And same thing in the bus stop. If you cut it too bad or wreck there, it will make you reset.
Yeah, I spun like on lap 2 in turn 1, and I was like, okay, whatever. And it was like, nope, you got to restart.
Yep.
I was like, son of a gun.
You know, I almost wish the tires were up to temp when they release you.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That first lap is gold. I mean, the first lap is such a throwaway. Like I drive it
2 laps.
It's like 2 laps.
Right, but I drive it in and I'm already a half second off in the first corner, and I'm realizing, okay, God, I got to go another minute and a half just to get back around and start another lap that probably I'm going to screw that up too. And then it's another minute and a half. And so, yeah, it drives me incredibly insane.
Be thankful they didn't pick Le Mans to do the lap.
I mean, I like Daytona. I just wish it was a different car.
So my next question is, of the top 75 in this list, how many are actually going to come to the Sim Gaming Expo? You think everybody on this list has tickets?
Absolutely not.
What percentage
Probably
do you
not.
think?
Half or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of international flags in the top 20, top 30. So who knows? I
That's
mean, they
an
might come.
international flight, right?
Yep.
Wow. It's expensive to come from, another country to the United States, right, Greg?
See, I'm not. It's not expensive for. The worst part is I get killed at the conversion. It's not even the fact about just coming down. Like it's not that bad to come down to.
Like I said, expensive.
Then look, it's going to cost me more to go to Chicago than it's going to cost Greg because I got to fly. He gets to drive.
I bet you in the end it costs me more by the time I get back to Canada.
One of our teammates found a ticket for $175 for round trip.
From
Good luck with
Florida.
that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Um,
Look,
We
I
have
would
a-
I would just be happy if American Airlines would stop changing my flights every second week.
Oh, that happens to me too.
Every other week, I'm getting updates. I don't get in till like 7 o'clock on Thursday now. I don't know what you're doing, Mike, but I don't get in till after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, they've been creeping the time changes. Like every week or so, they change it like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or something.
that does remind me. I'm going to come up relatively early, I guess, Thursday. And anybody who is already in town, I found a place that kind of does an open mic jazz night. And so I'm going to bring in my saxophone and I'm going to do a little playing Thursday night.
All right. And then we have a video from Path Racing showing their time attack lap on video. So if you guys want to see a fast one, check out Path.
There is a little bit of time for this event, but it is already up on our script. iRacing National MS Society Reunite for the Race for the Cure on August 13th. Is this the one where you can buy yellow flags or black flags and stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Expensive. But fun.
And then what else do we have going on, Brad?
This coming week, just most of the normal events, nothing special. I do want to go ahead and get on everybody's radar. Next week will be the Brickyard 400. So down on the script because I haven't since the NIS event. We don't get the special event, page and all that stuff. But as we will get into that next week.
Is that full distance?
Full distance.
That's what 3 of 4, right? There's 4 specials this year for NASCAR at the NIS because it'll be
Always
Phoenix.
4. Yeah.
Phoenix
Yeah.
will be the last one.
I think we're doing Bristol. I don't think it's Phoenix this year. So I think it's Daytona, Coke 600, Brickyard, and I think Bristol.
I thought they always do the last race though. I could be.
Hold, please. Nope, it's Bristol this year.
Damn,
I look forward to that.
it's a long race.
So
Do you look forward to it going just like Dover?
Stop it. I do better at Bristol than I do Dover. So
I like both those tracks actually.
So as we've added this the last few weeks, we've got the weekly tune-in from iRacing. So this week we do have the Creator Series. So this will be Monza Classica. So it's like the biggest and best egos in the sim racing go head-to-head. So this is part of a 12-week iRacing gauntlet using some of the best and wildest combinations of cars. So you can watch that this coming week. And yeah.
Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Please mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We do appreciate that. Check out our Discord. Lots of good discussion over there. We have some heavy contributors, and I really enjoy the commentary. And check out the show notes. Brad works really hard on those at iRacersLounge.com. We are in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network. And get your merch in time for the Sim Gaming Expo at iRacersLounge.shop. Brad's got the shirt on. I got the hat.
All right, wine country. How did we do, Brad?
Yeah, so the Cup Series rolled into Sonoma this past week for the second road course in a row. We had 3 tie for the win. BL Platinum 3, along with AJL 14 and Mud Dog, all scored 223 points. Followed in tied for fourth was our own Penguin Racing and Mike Wuju. And then, so SVG spanks the field again. Yeah, I don't think we were really surprised by that, to be honest with you.
I think my discussion this week on him was, for me personally, he's an iRacing alien. More than he's a supercar driver, more than he's a NASCAR driver, because that's how I met him. It was on iRacing, and he spanked me, really bad at Sonoma several times. I think it was 3 years in a row I raced him, and he won those races. But look, it translates, guys. He has got speed. I mean, you saw him at Chicago where you'd get on those restarts, and within 2 or 3 corners, he's already got 4/10. He's just a tick up faster. Now, look, the Connor Zilic kid, he's got the speed too. I mean, is he at the same tick level? I don't know.
Connor's quick, but the one thing with SVG is it's like there's no mistakes. I mean, that's the thing. He's it's yeah, he's stupid fast, but he doesn't make mistakes either. Watching all the restarts from Sonoma this past week, it was uh, Briscoe would get beside him, and then just by the time they hit 3 or 3A, boom, he was gone, and wasn't even worried about him. So yeah, it's interesting. She's bringing an interesting conversation into the sport, because I think there's a very good chance of him at least getting to round 2. If not advancing further, he's going to have enough points probably to get through round 1 easily.
Well, he's earned it in this format now.
Boy, did he earn it. He
He has,
really did earn it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why they put him in the car. I mean, that's why Justin Marks put him in the car. You got a guy that can win at least a race, and that changes your entire season.
So the real truth about anybody who wants to say he doesn't deserve a playoff spot, what they're really saying is they don't like the system, and that's a fair argument to have. But I want to throw in a couple of reminders of what it was back in the old point system. Even going back to Earnhardt's days, he would criticize people for just what they called stroking, which is just going out there and collecting the point stays, right? And people fussed about people who would race like that back then. And it came to a head when we had a champion with only one race win, right?
Well, there's too many road courses in NASCAR for one.
That I 100% agree with. That's been a question on some shows, and I saw it on a social media post as well. I think there should be 2 or 3. That 6, that definitely gives him. That's one of the reasons that he's in there. But yeah, get rid of some of these road courses, especially with this car.
Well, I don't have an issue with in regards to SVG. I don't think it's where we need to be. Again, I think there's better ovals out there that we need to be racing at. It's just this is not what NASCAR is not about road courses. It's about ovals. I'm fine with 2, 3, 4 at the most. I'm good with, but past 4, it's too many.
Look, I love the fact that the rest of the Cup drivers are humbled. You gotta believe that Tyler Reddick, Keegan Leahy, Denny Hamlin, that brain trust of how do we catch SVG, they're scratching their heads. Seriously.
Or do they really not care because it ultimately is not going to matter at the end?
It could be because of the oval, concentration of ovals. And,
back in the day, they actually really didn't care when they showed up at the road races. They just kind of stroked, as they used to say.
Yeah, but if you look at the guys that have been predominantly run very well, the Michael McDowells, the AJ Allmendingers, for them, this was a wake-up call because he's taken he's taken
Taking
food.
their shine.
He has. He's taken food off of their table with the way he's run.
Yep. I love it. I hope he has a great run at Dover. I mean, who do we like at Dover?
I think you got to look at Hamlin. Hamlin's very good there. I don't know what's up with Larson. He has not led a lap since Charlotte. I don't know. I mean, William Byron, maybe. You know, I don't know what's up with Penske outside of Blaney. Nobody else has even scratching a decent finish.
Yeah, SVG has momentum. I hope he can have a good run. He needs like a top 10 would be great.
Well, I mean, I think it builds confidence. I mean, you've won 3 out of the last probably 4 or 5 races. So I think from a confidence standpoint, I think it's huge. The one thing I do want to say about SVG is he's humble, and I appreciate that. Every interview, he's humble. He's not. It's his demeanor, and I think that's probably the thing that's the most likable about him.
I loved the way he talked about how he would work with Connor throughout the weekend on setup and gearing, and they were just feeding off each other, getting better and better.
Yeah, well, they're going to be teammates next year, so they need to. All right, so as we roll out of Sonoma and get ready to head to Dover, overall standings, we've got Mike Wuju in the lead with 37.56, followed by Matt Robb, 40. Third is Res Dog. Fourth, Mud Dog. Fifth is Cletus, 545. And I want to give a shout out to Tyler Williamson, who has jumped back into the top 10, and 10th, Fat Boy 1990 with 3,600 points.
We're going to try to spend some of your money or increase the chances of spending it by giving you some cheap options. This first video is budget sim racing items. Mike.
Yeah, OC Racing gives us a nice little video, giving us a top 9 of, hey, what can you get to enhance your setup? And number 1, smaller keyboard. I think he showed off one from Amazon that had like a little trackpad on it for the mouse.
That's a Logitech.
80/20 keyboard holder.
I have one. It's very handy.
I do too. Got to have that. Raised feet for the rig.
Had those before I switched to casters to make it easier to move it around.
Look, the casters, I can't recommend enough. Big casters, get it where it moves because you can pull it away and you can clean the floor underneath, which is super nice.
Yes, the wheels are super easy. I was doing some stuff last weekend, and it was nice just to be able to pull it away out of the corner, can get to do whatever I need to do, and then I just roll it back in.
Exactly. Yep. Mountable PC tray. I have one on the back of my triples, but I'm not using it. Cable management clips. Those are nice. Cup holder, phone holder, headphone holder, and finally PlayStation controller for camera control. I think Greg used to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this is those little things that we don't think about sometimes, but once you kind of get your rig set, it's the convenience things, and that's what a lot of these are. They're just convenience things. It's nice to have a spot to hang your headphones. I'm very OCD, and when I see pictures, like you go through Facebook and people showing pictures of the rigs and stuff, the thing that drives me bonkers is to see a set of headphones hung over a monitor. That drives me crazy. Why would you hang your headphones onto your monitor?
Get a hook, right?
Get a hook.
I put mine on my mic.
That's better than your monitor.
Yeah, I 3D printed me a holder. Yeah, I have or want everything on that list except for the PlayStation controller. Or the mountable PC tray. Mine's kind of heavy. I don't trust it on the back of anything, but
I can't remember which one it was that I got, but one of my VRs actually came with a PlayStation style controller that directly connects to the PC.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I had the whole swing out, keyboard tray that just got in the way, so I got rid of that, and that's why I've got a smaller keyboard. Um, you know that's it. That's how big it is, and I've got a nice little 80/20 3D printed thing. I just slide it in there, pick it up, and move on down the road.
My keyboard actually sits right on top of my base on my Fanatec base, and I took the little piece. There's a little piece on top of it that's detachable, and I double side Velcroed that to that detachable piece. But I just usually pick it up and leave it connected if I need to move the keyboard around. Like I put it in a different place when I'm flying because I actually have to use it for a lot of keys.
So the problem, Brad, with what you just did, though, what if I'm in the middle of a race and I need to reach over and hit F3 or F4? I got to pick it up out of the thing and do it, right?
No, I have a button box. I have a Stream Deck. I have
Oh.
all that stuff for that stuff. I don't have
Yep.
this never gets touched when I'm racing,
Yeah, only need it to type. That is it.
and I don't usually worry about the typing part.
Right.
The phone holder, I went extreme on that. I got this. I think it's designed for a motorcycle. If you want your iPhone while you drive a motorcycle kind of thing. But it's just all metal. It's like a claw thing that grabs it. There's so many good phone holders, but yeah, I think a phone holder is key.
All right, the next one is a little bit out of date, kind of, sort of. I guess we just didn't know about it last week, or maybe they hadn't posted it by Thursday anyway. But Team Redline was giving away a signed Formula style wheel. What was it? It was an Asher Racing, a 1-of-1 Asher Racing Ultimate, signed by Team Redline members. And basically, I guess it was people who, to enter, you had to be watching their stream. Is that correct?
Well, I think you tag somebody and follow the socials.
Yeah, you had to tag 2 people and follow Asher and Redline on Instagram. It says the winner will be revealed Friday, July 18th. It doesn't say when the contest ends, so maybe you can still try it. I don't know, but it's cool looking rim.
They have etched on it, on the metal, the Team Redline logo, as well as the first name in cursive of each driver above the 2 center knobs. Along the top, it also has the Asher logo, Redline logo, and 24-hour Spa Signature Edition.
So
Is that etched, or is it a metallic Sharpie?
I think they etch it with Asher, actually. That they offer that as a thing.
does it have a button that's already set to change your tires to wet before you start?
Ooh. Touche.
After you start.
And where's the tow button as well? Yeah, because they actually towed from the grid. All right. Next up, Trophy AI Racing Engineer is coming soon. So, okay. Another attempt to make, I guess, an AI tool.
Another attempt to get your money, right? No, but I thought they already did this. I thought Trophy AI was already some kind of engineer, but apparently they have something coming soon. It says join the wait list now for early access. It says this is your race engineer, and it's coming.
That's interesting. I mean, it's some of the suggestions, or what it'll do is lap by lap strategy updates, precise fuel calculations, saving every second in pit stops, weather calls, smart attack. I mean, a lot of this we do this kind of on our own. I don't know. I just don't know if AI is going to get there. I mean, especially a third party thing. I don't know. From the weather side of it, I can't see anything on the iRacing side. So how is Trophy AI going to see more than what little bit of information I'm getting from iRacing?
Look, I want this kind of stuff, but I want it native in the spotter of iRacing, or native. I don't, like you said, I third party. How does it even going to work?
I always disagree with you when you say this. Not making everything native does almost, in some ways, will push down these independent creators. All right, having a little bit of it outsourced where they can make a little bit of the money, but it still makes the community better is not a bad thing. It doesn't all have to be crammed into the software.
But look, when Brad reads off that list of what this thing does, I'm thinking, boy, that'd be kind of cool to have a crew chief voice in my head as well as a spotter voice that does
Yeah.
just that list. Yeah.
There is a button you can press for the weather calls.
which tells you nothing.
It says it's either going to change soon or stay the same.
Never mind.
Now, you're going to have to train it like crazy. Like band directors are amateur weathermen because we have ball games and contests and stuff. It isn't as simple as you think it is to read a radar and decide what's going to be happening within the next half an hour.
We don't have enough information in iRacing to make an intelligent decision about the weather right now when you're in the game.
What more information are you wanting? The radar? You want a more detailed radar or a wider range radar?
Yeah, I want a wider range radar. I mean, you can't see anything. I mean, it's you open up the radar and there's a blob, and I mean that's all you get.
It's really low res, right? It's like, how do you even tell what the heck's going on?
There's actually 2 zooms, and you have to zoom in and zoom out. That's how.
Yeah, but still, I think they could do a lot better job with the weather, especially if we're going to do longer races. I mean, as opposed to, I don't know. It's pretty.
You just hate the rain, admit it.
Look, when you're watching F1, you hear over the radio, "Oh, we got rain," 12 minutes out.
Correct. And every time I hit the button, conditions will stay the same or whatever it is. No change in conditions. No change in conditions. That's all it ever is.
No, if you click it when it's about to rain, it says we expect it to start raining soon. I think you got some confirmation bias there. But it would be some nice features. It would be interesting to see if the AI could read the radar or the data. I also wish the tire compound feature worked correctly, because all the third-party apps can't read the tires correctly when you're switching between wets and dries. That's a feature that supposedly works correctly in F1, like when you're switching between the fast and slow tire, but it doesn't work correctly between wet and dry. It gets confused. And that's confirmed on multiple third-party apps and broadcasters. Let's shift on to the next topic, which is actually about a shifter. The new Moses shifter. Is it worth it? What do you think, Mike?
Well, we got a video from Guns and Gadgets, actually, who's not a typical
Gears
and Gadgets. Yeah, he's not a typical sim racing channel, but he does sim racing, and he talks about the new Moza shifter, the giant one that's actually a flight stick that they did a software update and kind of made it into a shifter. Yeah, he's talking about that big behemoth beast that kind of is bigger than a toaster. Comparing that to the original one, or the lower cost one, is basically what he's doing. At the end of the day, he ended up picking the more expensive one, the big one. He thought it would be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess his biggest complaint about the original one was how loud it was. He actually said he liked the shifting better in the cheaper one. It was just too loud. He started the video complaining about, I guess, having gate issues with the new one, but I guess he said there was a firmware update or something. And we talked before about this, that it's a virtual gate, so there is no hard gate in that shifter. It's completely done by the force feedback. So that's why you can change from 4-speed, 5-speed, 6, I guess, and 7. I did think it was interesting. He opens it up, and you could actually see in there, and you can actually see the mechanics of it. It's two belt-driven drives. You got a belt, you got a drive on the front and a drive on the side, and that's what's controlling your force feedback. So it was interesting to look at that, but yeah, like you said, Mike, it's the size of a toaster.
This is one of the shifters I'm interested to try out at the Sim Expo. With Moza, I hope they have it there.
I guess it would be easy to switch between H pattern and sequential when needed, right?
Yeah.
Next up, we have a post about a drink button on an actual racing wheel that actually functions. What do you think of this one, William?
So OC Racing, we do a lot of his videos, put it up. This guy has designed through an Arduino board, I guess, maybe Raspberry Pi, something on the back end, an actual working drinking system. So he pushes a button on his wheel and water comes through his tube, just like a real race car. It's pretty cool. I kind of actually want it.
Especially with VR, I could actually see myself getting this.
Just get a Camelback.
Nope. See, I thought about you, Greg. So when your mouth gets dried out by your wind sim, you can hit the button and get yourself a little bit of moisture.
I don't need a button for it. They have Camelbacks that attach to the back of a seat. How hard is it to suck from a straw?
Yes, but if your wheel has a drink button, you want to hit it. What else would you use it for?
With my luck, I would end up hitting the pit limiter in the middle of a pack.
Right. I have to declare this. If you are willing to use a wind sim for immersion,
Fine.
you want the damn button for the drink immersion too.
There you go, Greg.
You're right. I'll put another Arduino board or whatever to get this to work.
It's still pretty cool. All right, Mike, SimLab, AMG.
Yeah, SimLab keeps hitting it out of the park. Last week or the week before, it was the SimLab P1X Ultimate, which would be my number one choice right now of a rig. This one I probably wouldn't pick because it is a F1 or a open wheels type cockpit where the seat is really laid back. But it's a kind of a pro version of their rig, but open wheel style.
All right, on the third picture, what's it saying is worth half a second? What?
I think it's the. It looks like, I guess there's some louvers there on the corners, so I'm not sure if that's giving you downforce or what. But yeah, obviously worth half a second.
No, it's a jab at look how easy this is to put together now. You're not using corner brackets like our old P1X. These things are all pre-drilled and super easy to put together.
Okay, but then that number wouldn't make sense then. But all right, I guess that could be what they're referencing. Coolio.
Look at the pedal tray on the last slide. How you can slide it easily. It's got like a slider thing in it. Yeah, lots of little upgrades like that.
Just got those
cool.
slanted uprights that I don't like.
Don't like that, no.
Oh, it's for F1.
What the concern too is, are those too high? Ew, they almost look like they are, especially with the slanted seat stuff.
Well, the steering wheel is literally almost right in your face when you're racing Formula style.
Well, this is officially licensed Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team sim racing cockpit. So no word on. Oh yeah, price 1,700 euros.
Oh,
wow!
With the seat, EU only.
Did you say with the seat?
Yeah.
Okay, that's high, but it's not as shocking with the seat.
That's really high.
Even with the seat, depending on the seat, I guess. Man,
I mean, I bought a pretty expensive seat, so it's not that much more than I spent between my Sim 1X, Sim 1 PX, whatever it is, and my seat. My Sparkler seat is pretty high.
If I bought a Sparko or a Corbo, I guess it'd have been kind of close to that.
You're paying for that AMG name.
Let's talk results. NASCAR iRacing Series, Wednesday Open, David, P9.
Is that? I guess nobody ran hardly any Sonoma, right? That's why we're already talking about Wednesday.
There's no entries.
Yeah. Greg, you didn't run Sunday?
Did I run Sunday?
Sonoma.
I remember you talking Sonoma Sunday.
Yeah, I
Hey, you
was.
said you were gonna run.
What happened Sunday? Was it Sunday or Friday night? I think I ran Friday. I didn't run Sunday. I didn't run Sunday. I ran Friday night.
Okay. But still, I remember you posting a result.
No, yeah, it was P tired. I was falling asleep while I was driving.
Well, at Wednesday at Dover, P9. This was a hairy race. Brad was in it as well, and he ended up getting the raw end of some of the hairiness later. I started from the pits, but then a caution comes out early, which kind of pushes me up into the group again because so many people were involved in the caution and pitted that I was back in mid-pack. And I've started to think in NIS, you either want to be in the front or the back. In the middle, you're pretty much going to die. So I'm going to run later, and I start to try to work my way forward, picking cars off. But I get a little bit loose right as somebody's behind me, and they couldn't help but hit me, and that caused a wreck. Then the race goes through its shit show phase, and of course I get hit by an ARCA breaker, and then the next time just by a self spinner, and I'm up to 14x, and we've got 150 laps to go. So I'm at that point thinking I'm going to end up with a black flag. So I drop back on the next start by over half a lap, but we get up having a very long run. And by that point, I've run almost everybody back down that I gave a half a lap start. And I'm up to fifth before green flag stops. I was 13th, I think, when the caution comes out, traps me a lap down. I take the wave by. But then at that point, I'm just starting in the back almost every restart until the very last one, just trying to stay clear. I think finally, once I got up to like seventh or eighth, I stayed up there just hoping that it would be the lappers and the people fighting for the lucky dog that were causing all the problems. So yeah, I ran 150 laps under the threat of getting too many X's.
Okay, nice top 10. Kyle Pendergraph, P4. After 3 weeks of dropping IR and SR like a rock, I walk away with a solid top 5. Started P16 and just worked my way up quickly through the field. Stayed top 5 for the first half of the race. And then we went on a 94 lap run. After 90 laps on the run, the meatball showed up and I needed the right front. Got 4 tires and some fuel and just started picking off the cars. Caution came out with 2 to go and green, white checker. Cycled around the pace car to restart in the back, but in P6. On the restart, I went to the high lane and let her eat. Picked off P5 quickly and started hunting P4. 1 to go on the backstretch. I doored to do with the P4, and he goes high, and his tires too far gone. He nails the outside wall out of 4, and I cruise on to the P4. Sadly, I'm just as excited about a P4 as if I had won the race. Brad, P15.
Okay. Yeah. So P15 started P12. Got wrecked on the pace lap. You know who you are. So no big surprise there. Then get wrecked after being taken 3 wide twice before 10 laps, I think. I ended up with, I guess, almost a minute of damage. I never got it all fixed. And the car it was never the same. It was so stupid tight. It didn't matter what I did to try to free the car up. I could not get it to free. Ended up blowing a right front on that long run we had. Never got a tire warning or anything. Just went in the corner and all of a sudden meatball, and I went up towards the top of the track, which is weird. So, like I said, never got a warning or anything. Ended up losing a lap. At that point, I just couldn't. I had 2 or 3 opportunities to try to get lucky dog, but the car was just too tight. I couldn't run. So even though I had eventually fixed all the damage, I don't think the damage was ever all fixed because the car was it was junk. I mean, just so stupid tight. So just looking for a better run on Friday. Don't forget to go back up there and get Chris.
Chris Waldron, P13, got stuck 2 laps down when the caution came out before the leader had pitted, trapping the field a lap down. Later, another caution came, and for some reason, there was no wave around, even though the leaders had pitted and all the cars ahead were a lap down. Still, P13, 3 laps down, I'll take it. Moving on to Thursday Open, I ran DNF. I was pretty fast, top 10, but then I got in an incident and had about 5 minutes damage. Then we had a long green run with green flag stops. I lost a lap eventually, got my lap back with a wave around, but more wrecks. Was running ninth on the lead lap near the end when I was sitting at 16x and going around under caution. I was, as Donnie Spiker would say, tick-tocking, chatting with the viewers of the stream, and I was looking at JRT, I was looking at my phone, I was looking everywhere but the track. We'd been under caution a lap and a half. I mean, why would I need to really pay attention to the track? But some guy was turned sideways coming out of 4, and I plowed right into him, basically, and blew up my engine. David, P24.
Yeah, I was caught in an early wreck. There was some stuff happening in front, and I got, I think, a little bit wiggly. And then at the same time, they were still spinning in front of me, and I got on the brakes, and then my car just went hard right, and somebody ran into me. Again, not really their fault. It was 13 minutes of damage. The wheel was 90 degrees off, and I barely was able to even get the thing into pit lane. And I was right next to pit lane when I came to a stop. It was that hard to drive. So I went ahead and fixed it all, was 15 laps down, and then just drove around collecting safety rating and moved all the way from P34 to P24 because some of the other cars didn't finish.
Yeah, Bobby Jonas ran with us. We don't have his result. I think it was P9. He was 3 laps down, got it back, and then went another 3 laps down and got those back, apparently, and finished P9.
Yeah, I mean, it's typical NIS. There's no racecraft anymore. It's just ridiculous amounts of yellows.
All right, let's talk Spa. 24 hours. Brad, Justin, David, Tom, P43.
Yeah, I'll start, and then Dave can jump in. So, race was really over before it ever got started. Ended up getting collected in an accident in the bus stop on lap 2. The guy that had to pass, 3 or 4 cars in the first 2 laps looped it in the bus stop, and had 2 cars in front of me. Both those guys went to the left, and they moved, and wham, there's the guy right in front of me. Couldn't avoid him. Ended up with, I think, about 4 minutes of damage. That cost us 2 laps, and from then on, we tried to battle back, but each of us ended up having issues on cold tires. I know I did. I spun on my second stint, I think, coming out of Blanchardmont, and then I know David had a few issues, and Justin did as well.
For me, I snapped loose at that kink. What is it called? Right before the chicane.
Blanchardmont.
That's Blanchardmont. Yeah, it just went around. I don't even think I was full throttle. And Justin just rear-ended somebody. He drove too deep into the chicane.
Yeah. It's just, on cold tires, it's just really challenging. So, we were about 8 hours in when I got back in the car and went out, and I think it was on my out lap, just a lazy kind of spin. I want to say maybe turn 4 or 5. I just minimal contact with the wall and ended up popping the rear wing off. No idea. I'm taking it easy because I'm on cold tires, and I get up and coming through a rouge. I lost the car and just destroyed it. I mean, it was 10 minutes of damage. We were so far behind at that point. I ended up making a forum post and got a few replies, but at some point they've got to make a change to where if you lose a wing, you need to be told you've lost a wing, or it needs to be a meatball. And no legitimate series would you be allowed to run around without a wing. It would be a meatball. So iRacing, please, that needs to be a change. Either we increase the spotter information that you get, or losing a wing gives you a meatball. I'd have been fine with that. It'd been nice to know. Justin lost a wing earlier, and I was in there watching, and I told him, I'm like, "Hey, you have no rear wing. Take it easy." I just got to the car. He jumped out. There was nobody watching me, but so it was super challenging, especially at night with the cold tires. So
Can you see it in the mirror?
no, well, I run the virtual mirror, so if I had the other one, then yeah, I could have seen it, but I don't run that in the, I run the virtual mirror. So just a very frustrating, frustrating race. So
Yeah. So after we gave up, Tom went ahead and ran enough laps to keep us from getting DQ'd, which was cool. We didn't ask him to, but I guess he wanted to not get the DQ. And then like I said, I jumped on. I've always said, if you want to get safety rating, just go into a race where you don't care about where you finish. And here's what we had. Our finish was over. So I jumped in and just stayed out of people's way and made extra effort to safely get out of the way every time somebody got close, and gained like 1.2 in safety rating.
Okay, and then William, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, you kind of let the cat out of the bag earlier. So we won with GRR split 4 of the 12 o'clock Eastern split. I want to clarify up front, though. We did not finish on track in first. We finished second, but I went to check the results last night, and P1 got disqualified for tanking. So I'll take it. It's still going to show a win on my book. We did not protest these guys. I think they got in a tussle or an accident with another team, and the other team got mad and went looking for a reason. But 2 other guys in the week before the race went from 3,200 to 2,400. One of them looked like he could have just had bad luck, but the other started and didn't run a single lap in 6 straight races. So, yeah, anyway, the race was great. We didn't qualify that well. The guy that was qualifying put a decent lap, but apparently there was some pace in the split. So we started 33rd. By the time he got out of the car after the first 2 cents, we were in 13th. He had gotten all the way up to 9th, but it spun the car, actually trying to avoid getting hit in turn 1 from a guy who missed his braking marker. I got in the car in 13th, turned it over in 6th by the end of my 2 stints, and we went from there. Kind of disappointed with the performance of the actual client during the race, because as soon as I got out, our next guy immediately, he ran 2 laps and his game crashes. Thankfully, we had someone there that could jump right in, but we lost a lap and went down to 16th. So that really hurt. I'm glad it wasn't worse. Glad we didn't DC'd before it hit anything or anything like that. And then in my overnight stint, my frames dropped and I was stuttering really badly. I was lapping about a second slower than I normally would have, just because I didn't have confidence with all the stuttering I was getting. So other than that, it was a great race. We put this team together to try to get a result, and I'm so glad it worked. This is probably one of the coolest things I've done in a long time. I love endurance racing. It kind of sucks, when bad stuff happens, but when everything comes together, there's nothing better. So yeah, hopefully that's the first of many.
Great win for the resume, as they say. So write that down on your resume. All right, my racing, I ran Gen 4, qualified 5th out of 16 at Homestead, 32 drivers with 2 splits. I don't get it. Why can't we have 1 split? This is NASCAR. We can handle 32 drivers in 1 split. I mean, it's just silly to me that we split them into 2 of 16.
I think it's 30 is the max.
Yeah, in that series it's 30.
In A's,
Who
yeah.
is it? They should program it where it's 32, that they don't split it. I don't know. Qualified 2nd out of 21st, basically ran 2nd till around halfway. Tried to go low on the leader, but couldn't hold it. Came up to him and wrecked us both. 7 minutes damage. I soldiered on to finish P9. Then I switched to Pocono, top split. Qualified 6th out of 17. Had a pretty good race, ending up finishing P3. Then next race, 12 out of 25, top split again, had a good run going. Got a stack up where somebody didn't go on the start, and I ran over him. I had to serve a black flag under green, was able to recover from dead last, clear up to lead where everyone had pitted with about 12 to go, except for me. I stayed out. It did not work out well. I was getting real pushy and fell back to P9. Next race, qualified 10th out of 17, top split, had a good run going up to around 5th, but then I creamed the wall coming out of 2 really hard, 5.5 minutes damage. I fixed about 3 minutes, stayed on the lead lap, and ended up working myself up to finish P8. Knocking on the door for a win there. I really feel it. Brad, GT Sprint Simicube P17.
Yeah, this was Friday night, so jumped in. Justin and I were going to run, and as I'm getting ready to qualify, iRacing locks up. You know, they get old screen's frozen. You know, the noise is going off and everything. So ended up having to reboot. Got back in and was hoping I was going to be able to get a time in, and I think I got my out lap, and I ended up running out of time before I could actually get across the line. So ended up starting 25th. Made some progress, but just never had enough speed, and it's just what it was. It was doomed from the very beginning with the lockup, which is bizarre. I mean, ever since season 3, I've had more lockups than I've had in the last 2.5 years. I don't know what the deal is, because I haven't changed anything other than the updates.
Okay, let's jump into grassroots racing. William, P4.
Yeah, the Mazda little spec race we do before GT League P4. Not sure if I'll keep this on the script, because there's really never much to say about it other than the racing's pretty fun. It's just kind of a league we jump in to not mess around. We still take it decently serious, but it's just a fun little get together before the real league. Started P3, finished P4 at Interlagos. Nothing really notable happened.
Well, let's jump to GT3 League grassroots racing, P6.
Yeah, P6. So first of all, I want to say welcome to Brad, who surprised me last week and decided to jump in to race with us. One, I hope you had fun your first time. I hope you stick with us, and hopefully it's some really good racing. As far as the race, I royally screwed qualifying. I spun coming out of the pits, not even doing my first lap. Got some damage. Had to reset. Got out, set the first slow lap on cold tires. Off tracks on the next 2, and then I ran out of time before I was able to finish my actual fast lap. So started way back in the field, P18 or something like that. Had to go move up through the field, and let me tell you, man, Interlagos 1 is not one of my favorite tracks. Actually, one of my least favorite on the service. Hated a little bit less after this race, but yeah, running up through there when we had like 34 GT3 cars and probably 15 GTPs was something. Cars everywhere. The first 3 laps were chaos. All clean, or mostly clean, thankfully. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of really good racing coming up through there. Got up to 7th by the pit. Was able to get into 6th, and then I caught 5th, but was never able to really pass him. Not the greatest result, but considering the track and my history here, I will 100% take that result.
Okay, and then Brad, P8.
Yeah. So I do want to say the one thing I do like and William, I'm hoping that they're going to continue with the 4 laps qualifying for the whole season. Yeah, that's nice. You know, with this new tire model, it is extremely hard to get any heat in the car, in the tires, in that 1 lap. So I do enjoy that. That's something I think iRacing really needs to look at. I mean, if we're doing, a 10-minute qual session with 4 laps, I would have no issue bumping up, in officials to add another 2 minutes and adding an extra 2 laps at most tracks. I think that'd be beneficial. So, but yeah, so started, I don't know, I think I started, I don't know, 11th or something. I don't remember where I started, but I got used up pretty rightly on the first few laps. First race with the league, so I just wanted to give plenty of room. But the guys took advantage of that. That's fine. It's no big deal. Was able to battle back and got actually top 10 overall, P8 in class. So the track is it's murder on the front tires with this new tire model. I mean, my fronts were they were cooked. I mean, the last few laps, I just had no forward bite. It was miserable. Um, thank goodness the Merc had a little straight line speed, because otherwise I would have probably lost more positions. But very competitive group. Looking forward to the season. It should be fun. I like the mix of sprints and endurance races. So grateful that you guys have dropped the bend or whatever, and we're not following that one.
Nope.
I have no desire to buy that track. But yeah, so I'm excited. It should be fun.
Okay, then we jump to final thoughts. Greg Hectus.
Just really getting, can't wait for the next, what do we got, 7 weeks till the expo, 6 weeks. Can't wait to get to that and see what this is all about. I'm really excited for that. Looking forward to doing some of the time attack this weekend, trying to better my time, and maybe I'll attack a Dover on Friday night here if I can keep my eyes open long enough to do it.
Okay, Brad Wren, final thought.
Glad to be back on ovals in the NIS. Chicago, I enjoyed. Sonoma, I don't like that track. No matter what the car combination is, I'm just not a huge fan of the track. But tire model, even on the Cup side, is taking some getting used to, and then also the aero changes. I've noticed it quite a bit on the GT3 side with the aero wash. Makes it a little more challenging, especially getting passed by a GTP into a fast corner. You try to tuck in behind is what's been kind of the normal procedure, and then you end up washing out. But really experienced a lot of that last night at Dover with the Cup car. So got some work to do on that side. I was not competitive last night, and it's just got some work to do. Like Greg said, looking forward to the expo. Can't believe we're only a few weeks away, really, in all truth and reality. Just as excited for the expo, I'm excited to meet all of you guys and then to meet listeners. We spend quite a bit of time all looking at each other virtually, but most of us have never seen each other face to face. So Mike and I have known each other for a very long time, and look forward to shaking his hand and in person. So excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to the expo and having a good time. It's more than just the equipment and all that. It's meeting up with friends. All right, David Hall, your final thought.
I've got to say ditto on it's nice to be back to an oval, and an oval that actually requires driving and where you can actually pass if you take care of your equipment. It's been nice. I like Dover. I think it's one of the places I got one of my first wins. I've just been caught up in stuff the last both races, but I've got at least an acceptable finish. But it's instead of only running once a week, I'm going to run every one of them just because it's more enjoyable to race, and I guess it suits my style as well, for sure. Certainly looking forward to the trip. It's going to be really exciting. Just the whole atmosphere is going to be a really nice event, and that additionally being able to just stay right there on the campus, or it's not a campus, but y'all know what I mean, at the venue. It's going to be a very enjoyable, fun time.
Yeah, absolutely. William Westbrook, final thought.
Yep. So obviously, still just buzzing from the Spa 24 result. I think that's going to last for a little bit. As far as racing, I'm not really a fan of my two main series, IMSA or GT3 Sprint, the tracks this week. So my racing time is probably going to be spent trying to better my time on the Sim Racing Expo Challenge, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I don't drop any more spots, but it seems like every time I check standings, I've dropped one or two.
Okay, and then my final thought on the Moza active brake pedal. You know how you go to race a car and a track and you forget to load the correct force feedback profile for your wheel? You might have left it on GT3 and now you're in NASCAR. Well, the same thing can happen with your brake pedal. If you forget to load the right profile, you could have a GT3 brake during a NASCAR race. And I actually went through that today, and I probably could have tried to change it while I was on track, but I didn't. I just kind of went with it. didn't use much brake at Dover anyway, but it happens, and I just realized that. Loving the brake pedal. Otherwise, I can't tell you enough how much I enjoyed it so far. There was a discussion in one of the Facebook groups, somebody asking what pedal should I buy, and so I gave my feedback and I told him, look, I think if you're buying pedals these days, it's a decision point. Do you want pedals that can change uh, per car, or do you want a static pedal that's the same every time? You know, like you get a hydraulic, you set it up a certain way, and you're using that pedal the same way for every car. And that's really a decision point now that we have a couple options for this active brake, which can say, change by software. And with that, hey, we'll see you on the track later. Okay, we got 3 title ideas. Let's vote. I like all 3.
One.
One. Or I like 3 too, but I'm 3 is copycatting Junior's podcast. You block, you pay. Instead,
Less
you tank, you pay.
losers.
So number 1.
Sure. Number 1. That works.
All right, there it is. Number 1, guys. Good show.
Yeah.
Nope.
So that would lead me to believe there ought to be if jeez. So yes, thank you. If SimHub can change if SimHub can change my ambient lights, can change my base shakers and everything, dashboard, everything based off I ain't got that. Everything based off whatever car I load into. Race Labs will put my layouts, everything. There's no reason that Moza can't do the same thing.
Right. Well, Marvin's, we use that to change her car with Marvin.
I think that's a
Look,
miss.
their profile loading system is to be desired, to say the least. I mean, yeah, it's not the best, right? They definitely could make it better. All right, I'm gonna get some food. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Yep.
Later.